Welcome home, Raiders! This week we have our first glimpses into how flying will be gained in Legion. Overwatch is back on the menu for everything starting Cinco de Mayo and a bunch of other stuff in the BattleNet news. This is CTR number 217.
You're listening to Convert to Raid, the podcast for Raiders in the world of Warcraft.
The Convert Trade Podcast Power Station in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today is May 3rd, 2016, and it's now 9:11 in the p.m. Thanks so much for joining us from all around World of Warcraft land, and hello. My name is Pat Crane. I am the host of this little shindig, as always. And the players are here, fresh from the bench, from somewhere in Nerdland in California. We're going to go to Dairies!
I was trying to figure out what you meant by nerd capital.
Yeah.
And then I remembered it's Silicon Valley, and then I put it together.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've been on the show.
It's the nerd capital. How are you? Because I know that you were recently concussed.
What?
You were, yeah. Okay, that answers that question. Let's move on to the guy from Lords of Storm podcast. It is Gizmo!
What's up? I am so glad to be back on with Dairies. I mean, Dairies, you didn't have to go and kick yourself in the face just to avoid being on with me and Sharku 2 weeks ago.
I couldn't do it again.
You did.
All right, and from the Stormcast, the Starting Zone, bunch of other stuff from Spazbot Studios, it's our friend Mick Montgomery. Hello, sir.
Hello, guys. You know, I think it's really important, especially if you've been recently concussed, to really start your morning off right.
Yeah.
You know, maybe do a little journaling, maybe take an ibuprofen. I like to personally sing in the shower. And I got to tell you, it's all fun and games until you get a little shampoo in your mouth. Then it's a soap opera. Soap opera.
What?
Hashtag dad jokes. Hashtag can't stop, won't stop.
Oh, man.
I'm pretty sure I was told this is all part of Dairies' concussion protocol, post-concussion protocol.
He needs those. Definitely.
I go back to bed.
I think it makes his head hurt, though.
You're already there.
It looks like his head is hurting. That's it. That's it. Well, hello, fellas, and welcome back for another fun show with the CTR crew. Thank you so much for joining us out there, as always. And guys, it's been a while since you've been on the show. Dairies, other than being freshly concussed, what have you been up to, like, in video game stuff? What's going on with you?
A lot of Overwatch withdrawals. Last week was tough. It was real tough.
Yeah. Because you had that on top of the concussion, and that's just got to make it worse, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of free time on my hands and no Overwatch to play. So it was really. I looked at a lot of screenshots and videos of me playing, and I ended up playing a lot of Division, and I did all the challenge modes in WoW on my priest. I had a lot of time on my hands, so I did 8 of 8 gold in the challenge modes and got all those transmog weapons and things like that.
Look at you!
That was good.
Wait, hold on a sec. I should do. Oh, dang it! There we go. All right, the applause is up now. We're all good.
Yay!
Sound. It's tough sometimes. Gizmo, what's been going on with you? It's been a couple weeks since we've seen you as well.
Yes, absolutely. As always, some Heroes of the Storm, some World of Warcraft. But this weekend, actually, Lords of the Storm hosted our third Lords of the Lane tournament, our 2v2 tournament.
That's awesome.
It was this Sunday, and it was amazing as always. And it was our first time actually being able to do it on the new single lane map, Lost Caverns.
Oh, right.
So.
Right. That's cool. That's awesome.
And made things a little bit easier.
And it was a super long stream too. I bet that was I bet your tongue got a little tied up.
Yeah, it was about 7.5 hours of casting. Honestly, though, it wasn't as bad because you don't get as tongue-tied. You're not having to go through 10 player abilities, just having to concentrate on 4. So
right,
it's a little bit more relaxing.
I guess I wouldn't know. I try to talk for a few hours doing like streams like drinking and swearing and stuff like that, and that gets tough to talk because I think there's maybe some other kind of thing interfering with that stuff.
Yeah,
booze does that.
It does do that.
It's the swearing. It's not the drinking.
Yeah, it's all the swearing. That's what it is.
Swearing is part of the talking.
Right, exactly. And then I messed that up. That's weird when that happens. Mick, buddy, it's been forever since we've had you on the show.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
What's going on in your world?
Not a whole lot. Because everyone got into the Overwatch beta, I'm in the Overwatch beta now, so that's been fun playing a little bit of Overwatch, and proceeded to play last night against some friends randomly who just slaughtered me for about a good 30 minutes until I gave up and went to sleep. Right. And then we just did our 150th episode over on the Starting Zone, so that was a lot of fun, and to get that episode out of the way and try something new. So that was good and a lot of positive reaction from folks that listened to that show. So it was good to talk about WoW and some other stuff. And
I really think that people should listen to that show because it's because you do kind of this different approach to this. I guess it's kind of NPR style.
Yeah, we tried to do kind of like an audio documentary story.
Yeah.
Which is something we're going to be doing more of, specifically about like stories that I think will interest World of Warcraft players in particular. So it's still going to be WoW focused, and we're not going to do that all the time over there.
Sure.
But this is something new that we're trying that's introduced a real nice new creative challenge to the mix over at SpazzBot.
And it was cool because the story was about World of Warcraft podcasting, and so it's kind of an interesting listen. And I think that, and I'm on it, and Jules is on it, and Ro from Realm Maintenance is on it, and it's basically a Signals Media roundup of All Stars.
And we also had Eric Rice, who used to host World of Warcast. He was on it. Yep. And then we had a former community manager from Blizzard on to talk about some things. So it was good. It was a good project. A lot of work, and we're glad it's out.
Yeah, it sounds like it really. I could tell that you put a lot of work into it. Just knowing how much audio you probably had to sift through to get to everything, and so it was really well done. So, congrats, on that. Just a couple of things before we get into news stuffs. And one of them is that BlizzCon tickets, we've been talking about them for the last couple of weeks. They are sold out. So they are sold out. They don't sell anymore, right? I mean, they're done. We've had the 2 days of regular tickets, and then we had the benefit tickets for $750 a pop last week, and those are all gone. And now, if you still want to get a ticket, you're screwed. No, you're not. No, not really. And I don't know if you guys have tried this in years past, or because I know it was there around last year. Was it around the year before?
It's been around for a couple of years.
I know that Elvine and some other folks did this whole thing with lfblizzcon.com. Mick, what is lfblizzcon.com?
It's a marketplace basically for people who are trying to sell BlizzCon tickets specifically, and I think it's some folks are familiar with it, maybe other folks aren't. But the cool thing is I think the requirement is that tickets have to be sold at face value as opposed to at a profit. So if you really want to get a BlizzCon ticket, it's a great place to go because if you go to eBay, you can still see folks who are trying to get a markup on their tickets and try and sell them. And so you're basically buying from people who just want other folks to take advantage of the fact that they've got a ticket available and are selling it, at face value. I have sold my ticket through LF BlizzCon. I did it in 2014.
Oh, cool.
And I did it in 2015, and it works great. It's a pretty simple process. And so if you're on the other side of the fence and you want to either sell or if you want to buy it, I think it's probably the best place to go. And especially the week ramping up to BlizzCon, that's where you're going to just see a lot of new entries hit. All of a sudden, a lot of people looking for stuff.
Like they go, oh crap, I can't go. Ooh.
Yeah, like somebody's mom got sick and they can't make the trip or whatever, and so they've got to get rid of a ticket. And the process, as we know last year, BlizzCon, the ticket process is so much easier than it used to be in terms of the line and everything. So it's real easy to show up, meet somebody at the fountain in front of the convention center, go down to the ticket exchange, and then swap your ticket over to the person who's buying it, and you're off and running.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people should just, if you want to go to BlizzCon and you don't have a ticket, still book your stuff. I mean, come on down, because it's more than just the convention as well. It's like everything around there is the party. I mean,
yeah.
And it's not just the Hilton either.
Every year for the last couple years, there's been someone within our group that doesn't even have a ticket, shows up and gets one the day of or something. Like, there's always tickets available.
Yeah. I think the first year that I went, 2013, was the year that Shark showed up without a ticket, and he still got in, and he was fine.
You're right.
So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Also too, I think it's important to understand that a lot of people are participating in all the activities in and around it, right? So whether like the Well Met party that happened last year that Signals helped throw on, Jules and everybody put together.
That'll be going again.
So there's stuff like that. Wowhead throws a big party every year too. There's a lot of events that take place in and around it. And then if you get the virtual ticket, you just go hang out in your hotel room and watch panels and stuff like that and take a break. I know people who buy tickets and physically go there and then still go back to their hotel room and watch the panels and rest up because they did too much drinking the night before. So, it's definitely, I think it's still worth it to make the trip, even if you don't have a badge to get into the convention center.
Right. And I know that like the AIE Guild does some cool things that, like, they rent out a room basically at the Hilton for the entire weekend, and they just hang out there and they watch the virtual ticket in there. And then there's other parties and gatherings where they're doing that stuff anyway. So why not? Right?
And World of Podcasts, let's not forget that.
Oh yeah, Con Before the Storm. Yep. So Con Before the Storm is the Thursday night. They're actually doing a Kickstarter for it right now, so you guys can go over to Kickstarter and join in, and if you want to donate, feel free. And that's basically just a gathering of a bunch of different podcasters and artists and a bunch of different stuff. I mean, there's like rooms and rooms and rooms of different things going on. So that's pretty cool. And I saw that last year for the first time, and that was awesome. So, and then Friday night is going to be the well played party, what we were talking about before. So the CTR party essentially, it's just going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait, guys, because I think I got to hit up Harry Potter Land World before I go. Before the con, gonna go to do stuff over there. I don't know.
Get your magic wand.
Yeah, that's right.
Make sure you stand in line make sure you stand in line for 5 hours so they can pick out your wand for you, though, instead of just buy your own.
I think I'll just buy my own. I think I'll take my chances. I'm not.
But good, probably a good choice there.
I'm not doing the line ride. That's not fun for me.
Best ride.
Oh, guys, another thing that's coming up is the Warcraft movie. And they just released a couple of new trailers. One is red, the other one is blue, meaning one is Durotan and the other one is Lothar, right? And we saw a little bit of new stuff. Not much, but it was kind of broken up a little differently. Which one do you guys prefer, red or blue?
Red.
Gizmo, are you all Horde?
So the Zords were I was Horde for life pre CTR. Then I had a change of heart ish kind of.
Hey, we were Horde until we moved. So
yeah,
we were Horde until we weren't.
We were Horde until we weren't, and now we aren't.
But
right.
No, I love Travis Fimmel too. Vikings is probably my favorite TV show of all time, but I just think the Horde one was better.
Gotcha. Yeah, Durotan. I mean, there's some cool. I like both those trailers though. I don't know. Mick, do you have a favorite?
I don't have a favorite. I think they're both fine. They're both pretty good efforts. I think it's a really good idea for them to begin to play up the red versus blue angle in their marketing campaign, and that of course I think really does play to the strength of the base of folks that are going to go out and see this movie just based on the fact that they played Warcraft. So, it's a good decision. There's quality stuff. The hype train is going to continue to start steamrolling and get, more powerful and more crazy as we get closer and closer. I know that the film is wrapped. I know that it's done. I think it's all ready to go. So now it's just simply a matter of just properly promoting it and getting everyone excited for June. And, I think it's a really cool event. As I said before the show, it's a great event this year for people who are World of Warcraft fans. I know it's not something that's going to happen in game.
5 weeks. 5 weeks away.
Get your friends together that play WoW. If you play with people that live somewhat close by you, all get together and go see the movie, and then go, out for drinks afterwards or grab some dinner and just have a really good, fun time with the film. Because I think this film is going to be a big, fun adventure. I don't think it's going to be like this dark and dreary, Batman versus Superman basket of crap. So I think it's going to be a fun summertime film. And I think WoW fans, I know for a fact that there's a lot of really cool Easter eggy stuff in this film for hardcore WoW fans, especially lore fans. So it's a good fun event to kind of get you together. I mean, like we're doing with like you guys are doing with the meetup in Minnesota,
right?
It's a good event to kind of be a halfway point in the year before something like BlizzCon. So if you really missed BlizzCon, that experience, well, you can kind of have a mini BlizzCon and go see the Warcraft.
It's a half BlizzCon. It's a something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I still stand by my idea.
What?
That at BlizzCon this year, they should do a free screening of the film on like Saturday night, or don't even do the musical act. Just screen the movie. Everybody come in, get popcorn, have fun, watch the movie, hang out. I'd rather do that than see some 41 play BlizzCon this year. So.
Instead of the concert, so have like an alt concert where it's the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Or
just the
have
movie.
Somebody come in. Yeah, or have the folks that did the orchestration come in and play something like something just different.
I saw Celestalon in the Twitch chat earlier, so maybe he's listening. So Celestalon, we want the movie as well as the concert playing at the same time, and then people can make their choice.
Oh, how about that? The concert plays the music live as they go. Have you ever seen one of those?
Oh,
how about that?
There you go.
How about that?
I just had a Zelda thing like that in Kansas City right before I left. It was really cool.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah, I know John Williams has done that a few times with the Star Wars and stuff like that. So, I mean, that would be a once in a lifetime opportunity for BlizzCon attendees for sure.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Dairies, are you doing anything fantastic for the movie? Are you coming to Minnesota or what?
No, I'm not going to Minnesota.
All right.
But
that's okay. We don't need you.
Okay.
We do have. We're almost capped on the number of seats that we can have for people that want to come to the Minnesota meetup. If you still want to come, go to wellplayedparty.com and claim your tickets because
no one wants to go to your stupid party.
We have we had over 140 at last count that claimed their tickets, their free ticket to go see the movie with us just outside the cities here. But and then afterwards we're going to go to an amusement park. We're going to go have a lot of fun. We've got stuff planned. So
just rub it in.
Yeah. So you guys, so if you're interested, and we've got people coming from all over the place. We've got people coming from California. I don't know where in California, but they're maybe not near you, but you might be able to hide in their luggage. Never know.
If the tickets weren't so expensive and the timing isn't great, but a few people have mentioned trying to do something in the Bay Area, so I'm hoping someone else plans it that's not me.
Good.
All right. But I will see it. I will see it, obviously.
Well, yeah, obviously.
There is, in the same kind of vein, not Warcraft, but Overwatch, there have been details floating around as this Coca-Cola pre-launch event on the 22nd of May. They're doing at movie theaters. They're showing all of the Overwatch videos and a dev panel, and they're giving out free stuff like free Overwatch swag and things like that at select theaters.
Awesome.
I just saw it right before the show started, so I don't. I didn't put it in the show notes, but
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, we'll have to find out more and let you guys know exactly what's going on with that. But
yeah, it's if you go to Coke Esports on Twitter, it's like the top thing in there, and they're doing a thing for Overwatch. But anyway,
very cool, very cool. All right, well, let's get to the raid news.
Calling all raiders from World of Warcraft land. This is raiding news.
Yeah, it's time to check out what's happening for the news for raiders around World of Warcraft. And up first, we do have some news about how flying is going to at least start to roll out in Legion. And by that, I mean that there's a part 1 that we now know about. There's a part 1 for flying in Legion. And I know that here come the people that are going to be all salty and weird and say stuff like, oh, they took flying away from me again. And all this kind of stuff. But that is not the case. Oh, God, that thing is creepy. All right. It's even worse with googly eyes. We changed up the video a little bit. So if you go check out the video, you can see the salty clam with googly eyes.
Surreal.
Oh, man. But so we do have some idea of what's going on. And Gizmo, can you lay down what we know so far about this thing?
So for the first part of this Legion Pathfinder, completing it is going to grant you increased mount speed. So is this going to be faster, like a faster mount speed than what we currently have?
I believe so.
Because I'm super excited for that, actually.
Sure. As long as it's not hyperspeed. As long as it's not like, oh my God, I'm on a racket horse.
But to do this, you must complete 100 world quests, explore the map of Broken Isles, complete the Legion quest storylines, complete your class hall campaign, and earn revered with 6 of the Broken Isle reputations.
Right. And then there was a follow-up from Ian Hazzikostas that said things like, earning revered with the 6 reputations is basically doing the quests.
No,
that's the case.
No grinding at all.
He said there shouldn't be a grind.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because
no mob grinding.
They say the underlying prophecy here is explore and master the outdoor world on the ground in order to unlock the ability to soar above it. Which, if that's fine, playing through everything, seeing everything on the ground, I'm okay with. As long as there's not that grind, because I still never got my flying in Draenor.
Right. You too, huh? You never got it either? I was like, no, this is, I don't need to fly. It's fine.
I'm okay walking. I mean, I'm a dwarf. I have short legs. But you know what? I have mounts that can't fly, but
That's right. And it's fine. That's totally fine. Mick, do you have any thoughts on this part 1 or questions or
no, I don't
concerns
think I have any
or
questions.
anything?
Yeah, the only question I have, or at least this is the thing that when I read through this, with the way that the tech is moving, I think for this expansion, we're supposed to be able to have the scaling that allows us to kind of level wherever we want to. Right. So while I totally understand their desire to have you see everything, it kind of goes against perhaps in my mind the spirit of that particular technical advancement, because if I don't want to quest in High Mountain, do that stuff, I'd rather hang out in one of the other locations. Then this is kind of making me go to the other places in order to get this achievement if I want to fly.
Right.
So it's a minor thing, but I do feel like the spirit of that particular change from a technology standpoint does make it a requirement for me to have to do some things that maybe I will or will not be interested in. But at the same time, this is the gate. So if I want the flying, I'm going to have to figure out a way to get through this gate. And it's a minor concern on my part. This is no different than what was rolled out in Warlords of Draenor.
Sure.
When it was rolled out late in the expansion. I mean, these are basically almost copy and paste with just some of the factions changed over. A lot of the requirements here are the same, except for the complete a class order campaign. That's obviously a new feature for Legion. So I think it's fine. People are still going to complain about the fact that it's gated, and that's just the way that's going to be. And Blizzard's not going to backtrack at this point. So we just continue to do the quest line. And hopefully it is true when it meets out, the statement that, if you just do the stuff and minimal things, you're going to be able to get this. And hopefully that's the case.
Right. Well, and the one thing that does concern me is the completing 100 world quests. Because I'm not exactly sure exactly how long that's going to take, or how grindy that might get, especially toward the end of that 100 and stuff like that. So that's my little concern. Plus the class hall campaign, depending on how that rolls out for everybody, and just seeing how long that takes and how grindy it feels and whatnots. But I'm guessing that all of those things will take you all over the map anyway. So going all over the map and exploring all these different things is going to get you it all leads to the same place, essentially, right? So
I think you'll probably end up 75% of the way there just by leveling on almost all of these.
Probably, right?
That's, I guess, the expectation, at least.
Yeah, and then Ian Hazakostas did say that really this is the majority of everything. We're not looking. Where the other part is basically just like the finishing touches or whatever, adding a couple of little things here and there, and then okay, it's flight time.
Mm-hmm. And I've always liked this, though. I've always felt like flying lessened the experience a little bit. In this what's supposed to be this grand big world, and just making you see it a little bit, I think, is a great way to do it.
Yeah.
But the mob grindy stuff was never fun, and shouldn't have been the way to do it. But the idea was there, like, go out and see the world and see everything that you're gonna fly over.
Right.
Was a good idea.
Yeah.
It was always put behind a pretty stiff gate to begin with, especially for those of us who are economically challenged in the game. I mean, it was always expensive to get the flying training in order to be able to fly in the new zone expansion zone anyway. That only changed at Cataclysm, where they made it so cheap because you're going to fly all around, Azeroth at that point. So it's always been behind something challenging to do. It's just this is instead of just making it so that you have to do exactly what Dairies said: go out and explore the world and get as much of the content in as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what this is doing, because as you're leveling up, that's kind of the point. But once you hit max level, you don't want to spend too much time on that, because at that point you're not exploring the world anymore. You are gearing up for end game content. So,
well, and yeah, it's kind of like, okay, so when does the second part drop? When can we actually get flying and not just have our rocket horse?
The last.
I'm assuming it's a rocket horse now. Now that I've said it, now I have it in my head. So every time it's just gonna be rocket horse. That's fine. Whatever it is, and so it's just like, when are they gonna drop that? Are they gonna drop it early enough so that people don't have to worry about it anymore?
It's gonna be the last patch.
Yeah, last patch.
The last patch
again. Oh, man, if they did that, just think about the backlash that would happen.
It's in the pre-patch for the next expansion.
Yeah, exactly.
But in fairness, this last expansion in Warlords is very much a ripping of the Band-Aid on a lot of things, right? So it's kind of like, for those of us who already went through the torture of last June and July and all of this drama that unfolded from this feature.
Oof.
We already, as players now, we kind of know it's coming. You can be disappointed, right, but at least it's not hitting you in the face like, what? We're going to do what? So this isn't, if players, I think at the very least should have expected something like this to be introduced.
Yeah. Well, let's just hope that everything is going on, that they have all this stuff planned out, and they do, and they know that there's going to be a second part to this, and they know essentially when it's going to drop, but they're being a little cagey about exactly when, because they don't want to make promises. Because they saw a lot of that stuff kind of blow up in their face a little bit during Warlords of Draenor as well. So they're hedging their bet, or they're being cagey. Either way, same thing. It's fine. Moving on. I just wanted to talk about this and make sure that people still knew what was happening on the alpha, and that there is still heroic and mythic raid testing going on right now. And for that, I just want to say, because I have a feeling, fellas, I'm going to call it here, because I know that they're working on a lot of different raid tests right now, and they've been doing this consistently for months. right, Dairies?
Yeah,
They've been doing this. They've been doing this a lot. I think we are going to be looking at some of the finest rating that we've seen in all of World of Warcraft. I don't know. Maybe not the story. I don't know, anything about that. I'm just saying the raid encounters themselves, I think they're going to be fantastic because they started early. They keep on going with raid testing. And this is something that I haven't seen enough of. You know what I mean? Where you get to see this early test happening so much. Dairies, have we seen that before?
I mean, this is a lot of testing.
Yeah.
And it's some of the bosses multiple times. We have seen a lot of testing, but this is kind of very spread out. We're getting stuff every week. I think maybe substance wise, it might be more than we've seen before. And if the trend continues from the raids we've seen in the last expansion and the end of the previous one, things are getting much, much better. And these raids are looking even better. And we're seeing a positive trend here, which is amazing.
Yeah, the raids are so cool, and they look so cool.
Yeah, I think the tuning's going to be a lot tighter, and some of the mechanics are really crazy, so they need testing for the tuning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to see a really tight initial raid out of the gate for Legion.
I'm so looking forward to it. Giz, do you think they can make raiding better? Do you think they can do it?
Absolutely. I mean, if they continue on the trend, like Darius said, I didn't start raiding until Cataclysm. And since then, I mean, they've just been getting better and better, right, with the exception of a few bosses. But
there's always a few.
Just a few. But yeah, I get more and more excited for each new raid that comes out. So
which one was it that you really didn't like? Siege Master, was it?
Ultraxian. I liked Ultraxian. Just to stand there
and
and
the wall.
Nothing. Stand there, do nothing.
That wasn't even a boss.
I don't know. Hans and Franz was actually really fun after the initial.
After you took your Dramamine?
Yes.
I don't feel so good on this one.
Oh, man. Mick, do you have you seen any of this stuff? I know that one of them was like really psychedelic looking and trippy.
Well, I think that, you mentioned, is the story going to be compelling? I would say that these might be the most compelling, in my opinion, these might be the most compelling raids from a story perspective in a long time.
Sure.
I mean, you have very much, we're all chasing Gul'dan to kill him in the palace, and then we got the Emerald Dream, basically that experience with Malfurion. So you have two key characters to interact with in both raids. So I think that for players who are motivated by the concept of the story, I think that there's plenty that's going to be here. As it relates to the encounters, I think it was rating from an encounter perspective terrible in Warlords. Probably not. There's still challenging stuff. It's challenging, I think, for Blizzard to continue to keep their encounters interesting and to create some new stuff and make it innovative. And they can. I think there's a limitation to how far they can reiterate, on concepts and ideas.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, as long as that is still a carrot that people want to continue to chase, then it is what it is, and it will continue to be good. I've never felt that rating has been unsatisfactory for a while. I think it's the content around it once we get to endgame that hasn't fulfilled players as much as once the rating is done. What do I do now?
Sure.
Once my team is done, what do I do now? So that's more, I think, to me, the story point for Legion is how do they make the rest of the gameplay as equally compelling as raiding not once or twice or 3 times or 5 times a week.
Right. And I'm just like, Warlords of Draenor, as far as, from a strict rating perspective, where you're just going in and you're killing bosses, right? Just from that, rating was amazing. It was awesome. And I hear that Mythic was really great, really well tuned, all this other stuff. All I'm saying is, if they can improve on that stuff, we're looking at some fun times, guys. And it will be, and hopefully it will be worth the wait. That's my whole thing. I know we've been waiting a while, so I'm itching to get in there and kill some new stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's do it. Let's get in there. That's my only That's my only issue. Let's do it now. So
well, and two, what's
so
the
there.
story for how many tiers we're going to get, how many raids we're going to see, how does the story unfold from tier to tier? And that's, that all remains to be seen. We know we have these 2 raids up front. They look like they're pretty cool. And at that point it becomes how frequently do we see new stuff to satisfy folks who are burning through the content faster than others.
Right.
And that are very vocal about the fact that they're burning through content faster than others.
Warcraft has never been filled with very vocal people, and that's always been its Achilles heel, is that nobody says anything on the forums. Mm-mm.
Yeah, people are pretty quiet.
Yep, they really are. They really are. So I guess we'll just leave it there and we won't say anything more. But we do have a lot of other stuff to get to because it's all in the BattleNet news. Yes. First up, I just want to say Season 6 Diablo. What are you guys playing and how far are you right now? Is there anybody not playing Diablo right now?
I'm playing May in Diablo.
You're playing May in Diablo? Okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Well, that did kind of hit, and so people were like, well, Diablo can wait.
Yeah.
It's the season, so I haven't been able to get to my to this little office area. I haven't been able to get to it in the last couple of days because they were tiling outside because I'm going through a studio remodel project, and so I wasn't even able to get into Overwatch. So there.
Well, no one was able to get into Overwatch.
No, I mean yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I was not able to do that. And for that, I am a little salty. So there. Dairies, did you play any Diablo at all?
Not in Season 6.
Not in Season 6?
I have, the way I play Diablo is where I assume it's most people do it, is I get to max level and maybe get a couple levels of Paragon, and then I forget it's a game until the next season comes out.
Yeah.
So
that does happen.
I skipped that part this time and just continued to play Overwatch.
Right. Because it was out and available. So
yeah.
It's all good. Gizmo, are you playing it all?
I am. I always play. I get super pumped for each season that comes out because typically, like the next 2 weeks of my life, disappear out of nowhere. This one ended a little sooner, though. I guess how far I am back at square one. I made a hardcore witch doctor.
Whoa!
And grinded it out for a while. I actually I enjoy grinding the solo leaderboards on hardcore at the beginning of each season. And I got up to rank 100 this season. And then Sunday, before Lords of the Lane, our tournament, I decided to, do some relaxing riffs, nothing dangerous. Turns out it was more dangerous than I thought. And I lost my beloved witch doctor. So I have nothing now.
Oh, boy.
It's all gone.
Well, that's all right. That's what hardcore characters are for.
Yeah, I think I did it on purpose, like just not subliminally, so I can play Overwatch.
There you go.
So that's my excuse.
There you go. Well, let's jump to Overwatch as long as we're there. Of course, the early access stuff, open beta. The early access to open beta happened on May 3rd GMT time. So we actually in the States got it on the 2nd. It was really nice. And for that, I will do this. Lots of big applause. I'm psyched about it. Now, Mick, you were saying at the top of the show that you finally got to play some Overwatch. How are you liking the game overall?
I feel like I still got to be careful here.
Are you feeling behind the curve?
I am. Here's my impression right now. I am feeling that continued exposure to the game will make me a fan.
Yeah.
Right now, it's a little tough. Obviously, there's a lot of people jumping in and playing, and I don't think I've only found a few of the heroes that I feel, or villains in this particular game's case. There's only a few that I feel like I've got a good grasp on. So I've decided to just focus on those for right now and not worry so much about getting into the depth of the meta in behind who applies where best and depending on which map and which game style you're playing. So, but for the most part, the game is beautiful. It's compelling. The music is great. I mean, everything about it is good. I had a couple of weird bugs last night where that I hit where I got stuck to where it wouldn't add players. So we just ran around killing each other for like a good 20 minutes with no actual objectives in place.
Nice.
So there's a few things that I've hit so far that are a little bit buggy, but for the most part, it's a solid shooter and it's a lot of fun. The characters are all great. They're all unique. They're all wonderful. I mean, all the things that are right. And just my concern for the game has been my concern all along is it casual enough for people? And I think as rank play gets introduced and that kind of stuff, that will begin to even out, and it will become people will start to fit into their appropriate skill levels, and it'll be a fun game for sure.
Well, and right now they don't have rank play in, correct? Because they're waiting for. Are they waiting for launch?
But you have to be 25 to do it.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that.
No one can do it.
Like I said, I haven't been able to get to my office, so I haven't been able to play the game. Yeah, it's the way it goes. So now, Dairies, is there anything from your perspective that's really changed from the beta from the closed beta, I guess?
No, except that they took away all my skins.
Yeah,
that was a bummer. Most things got reset. I retained a large portion of my gold, but everything else reset. Oh, not everything else. My playtime and my wins and things like that didn't reset, but achievements and skins, and so some things did and some things didn't. I don't know.
Oh, good! Another game where your MMR won't reset after the beta is done. That's so well received in the other games that Blizzard makes.
It's I think everything reset except for like your actual profile stats and stuff, but like all the individual hero stats reset and your skins. But are they going to reset those again before actual game launch?
Everything's supposed to get reset before
launch.
The May 23rd launch.
24th, yeah.
24th, rather. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that. Other than that, though, there haven't been any changes. Nothing plays different. There were no balance changes or anything like that that I've seen. Everything looks the same.
But you only play May, so it doesn't even matter.
No, sometimes I play Mercy.
Oh, yeah. All right.
But yeah, nothing has changed like that. But it is weird that the reset thing. I don't know what their plan is to do on the 24th. If they are going to fully reset everything, if the gold all gets reset, or what's going on. So
right. Well, I would think that they would. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to not do that. I don't know. Let's hope so, because otherwise, Heroes fans everywhere might be a little, I don't know, upset, apparently. Mick, what are the heroes that you're playing, by the way?
In Overwatch? Torbjorn, Bastion, Widowmaker, and Tracer. Those seem to be the four that I'm sticking with right now.
Those are fun.
And Reinhardt every once in a while.
Sure. So. Well, you get your bases covered. You're doing all right. See, I'm just a Junkrat guy. I just go and blow crap up. That's all. Just throw.
See, Pat is the worst
spray
Overwatch
and pray.
Player
spray and pray.
Don't be like Pat. You should not play one class.
No.
Play multiple classes.
No, I do.
Pat only plays Junkrat, and he just stands in spawn and shoots it at the wall and screams.
Yeah. Isn't that what you're supposed to? I just blow up the video games, like when you're in the place, and I can't even remember what it's called, but you're just blowing up all the video games and the soda dispensers and all that kind of stuff. Right. You just blow all that stuff up. Done.
Yeah,
that's Pat's Overwatch.
And then I quit because it's like nothing else to do.
It's people like you that make me angry, because every time I get that level, I want to explore and see everything. Yeah. And there's always one person who immediately just starts blowing stuff up. Dang it.
Well, you know what you do? You create customs and stuff like that. You gotta. I mean, come on. But if you guys want to get involved, if anybody wants to get involved, the open beta begins May 5th. So in a couple of days, Cinco de Mayo, you can spend your Cinco de Mayo with a margarita, play an Overwatch.
And that's open beta. Everybody come in for a certain amount of time.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, do it. So why not? Let's go into some Heroes news. Because we have two guys that do Heroes podcasts that are both wonderful.
I don't do a Heroes.
No,
podcast.
you don't. No, you don't. It's not you. I'm not talking about
Oh, okay.
All right. And I want to hit on a few different things that we found out. One was today.
Sure.
But
kind of.
But the first thing is that there's a balance patch coming tomorrow. And Mick, is there anything major that we need to talk about there?
Well, a much cried out for Tracer nerf is coming. But I wouldn't necessarily call it a complete nerf. It's more along the lines of a pretty good adjustment given how short of a time she's been available to all players at this point.
Sure.
So they're basically nerfing her health. They're nerfing a minor nerf to her attack power, her basic attack power. And then they are tweaking some of her abilities so that they're more interesting and that there's better choices within her tree build. Because right now she's already kind of hit a pretty singular build that everyone is using with very minor variants. And so they're trying to make the rest of the choices within the tiers more interesting. And that's pretty much the balance patch. It is all focused on Tracer. There's no other heroes that are going to be affected. Some bug fixes, Gizmo, but nothing else besides that.
Gotcha.
Yep.
The other thing is that there was a rule change for the Summer Championship for Heroes where coaches are going to be allowed in comms.
Yes.
Is this a huge thing or is this the biggest thing?
You know,
so
I am really excited for this. I mean, they released a new packet with all their rules and stuff, which I did not read through the entire thing. But the fact, just allowing the coaches to come in. Of course, these teams already have shot callers and whatnot. And I have never been a coach. I have never been in an esports team practice to understand what exactly the coach does versus the shot caller. But if it's going to allow these teams to take their game to the next level, their strategies, then I am 100% for it. As long as we don't have any, Bill Belichick's, any of that stuff going on.
But essentially what we're doing is we're saying, okay, instead of having a shot caller, you can have another set of eyes on the game telling people what's going on. Which does this mean that we're going to see some disadvantages, some disadvantaged teams going forward if they don't have a coach versus a shot caller? Yeah, I mean, Mick?
It just means that every team is going to get one now. That's all.
Yeah.
So I know that this came up in League in 2014. League put in the League of Legends put in the provision for coach's salary so that the coach and the manager could basically be separated, and the teams would be able to afford to have a coach. I think this is me personally. I'm on the side of this is not a good change. As it's relayed to the community, like coaches are going to be able to talk on comms. The provision in the rules say, subject to Blizzard's sole discretion, while coaching coaches may only view the games on the machines which they are playing, which the players are playing. If hardware is provided, coaches may communicate with players during the game. So it's also going to be contingent on the venue and whether or not they actually allow for coaches to have the ability to communicate with the players and to also watch what's going on. So in my estimation, I think this, to me, I feel it's not a great change. I do agree with Gizmo. It could lead to better strategy. And if all the teams play, continue to do it, right now it's another economic issue for the teams to have to manage if they split their manager from their coach. Or if the manager now has to do both double duty right now. And I don't know if there's the money in place to be able to do that. But it also could be a situation where coaches can also occupy an alternate role as well, which I do think is important that Heroes gets to a point where an alternate is allowed to be part of it. Because right now Heroes doesn't have an alternate spot in the pro scene. It has it at Heroes of the Dorm, but it doesn't have it for here. And I think that an alternate is needed. So if an alternate can fulfill that role, and this is something that I want to continue to do with coaching, it doesn't sit well with me, but I'm not the one who's out there playing. And so
sure.
I'm sure that this is something that has been talked about already at length between the teams and Blizzard. And so I would imagine that, and it's not that something that doesn't exist in other games. So I'm sure that this is something that was brought to them, and Blizzard finally said, okay, let's go ahead and do it. So we'll see if this is going to go into place or be available at the qualifiers at DreamHack for NA. Then we'll see how it affects the play right now. Right now, the meta in the NA is really shifting a little bit.
How so?
Well, Cloud9's not as dominant as they have been.
Right.
In fact, they haven't even qualified yet. So with that, there is some debate right now that the expansive hero pool is starting to shift in the favor of some of the other teams, because some teams may have been sitting within choice picks in a very narrow meta for a while now. And now that there are more diverse picks and changes that are happening regularly within balance, comfort picks are not as important as they used to be for some of these teams. But, that really remains to be seen. We'll see how this summer, I think the summer tournament is going to be really interesting for North America, and the finals for the world will be really interesting. And it's going to be really, really good. And so this is a change that is minor. There's a lot of people that have a really strong opinion on it, with the coaches being able to talk on comms. As long as everyone can take advantage of it and it's regulated correctly,
right?
It probably is not something that we as spectators are even going to notice that much.
Okay. All right.
There was, I had read someone posted a very good argument about this, and I don't know if maybe you guys had seen it too, where because this is just for competitive play, this changes the way the game is played for competitive people. There is no option for one of us to play a game and have a spectator or have a coach or a commander or something like that. But the pros get it, which then takes it from a game that everyone is playing to a game that you can no longer play as everybody and no longer have that relation to, which I think is a bad thing if they don't add this for everybody.
Well, but again, it's kind of one of those things of, well, if you play anything more casually, you're going to not see some of the stuff that you're going to see in the pros, no matter what you're playing.
I mean, you could say it's soccer,
Right.
You could have a coach on the sidelines. You have the means to do that, but there's no way for a team to have a coach unless they're all in the same room or something like that.
No, that's, I would imagine, because we have custom games, we have observers. I would imagine it would be fairly simple, because right now observers see the whole map. They see both teams.
Yeah.
I would imagine it would be a fairly simple fix to be able to, right now there's observer and referee, to make a red coach, blue coach.
Which was what I'm saying they need, but right now they haven't said anything as to adding that. So
I would imagine that would come down the line, because a lot of these teams don't have team houses. They don't live in the same place to practice. So that I think we will see that fairly quickly.
Cool. Well,
yeah, I think financially it just feels like it's too soon.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't have the money in Heroes yet.
Yeah.
To support it. We don't have enough teams, at least in North America. North America is a big scene for Heroes. We don't have that many teams that are all working together, as Giz said, in player housing. So I'm sure that they want it. The players want it. Sure. That's why it's happening. But the question is, is the game ready to support it? And it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I just want to show up and watch good matches at the end of the day. So
right.
if there are going to be better matches, then this is great. And this is awesome. This is fine.
Yeah.
I do agree with Dairies' point, though. Yeah, it does make it feel, it begins to create a greater distance between the pro player and the average everyday player. And up until now, some players, I think, feel that they're closer to that scene than they actually are. And so when more and more divergence begins to happen between those two types of players, it's going to create a different dynamic overall.
Well, we'll see how it rolls out this summer and into the fall probably, and hopefully it'll be a good thing. But we'll just keep an eye on it and see what happens. The other thing that we got to keep our eye on is the sky for Heroes of the Storm. Gizmo, you posted something in Discord today.
Yes,
and it wasn't
tiny
the
blurry picture,
and it was a very small blurry picture. What was it? A small blurry picture of?
It was too hard to. I was on my phone. I was at work.
Right.
But anyways, the Heroes of the Storm Twitter account posted their next hero teaser, which was just a little GIF of or GIF. I don't even know how you say that, but it was on Cursed Hollow at one of the tributes, and it's just there, and then all of a sudden you see a shadow fly over, and it is a dragon. A
Dargon! Oh, yes. Man.
But people have already knocked this out. We pretty much know who it is. some people were thinking Deathwing. The shadow really looked like it.
Yeah.
But apparently the GIF or GIF was named Chromie that someone found. And people have been comparing, points on the shadow to Chromie's dragon. So we're thinking it's Chromie, which is interesting because not only is it the first dragon, but the first gnome as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
So the ultimate would be turning into the Dargon and doing something exciting.
Yeah, or didn't Chromie was manipulated time, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know somebody mentioned it, which would be a really cool ult. Probably will never happen because it would really mess people up. But being able to shift the entire game back, 5 seconds or so.
Oh man.
To reset everybody.
That would be literally a game changer.
Yeah.
Yes, literally. Literally.
Wow.
Yeah. Dairies, you get 2 of those jokes in one show. Look at that. I wasn't even really trying all that hard either.
It's worse.
Just happened. That's the best one. It just happened.
Naturally the worst.
Right. Right. Real quick, hey, let's get to the mail, and then we'll get the heck out of Dodge. Here we go.
We've got mail.
We do, and if you have a question about anything about rating or anything else, just let us know. We'll try to answer it on the show. You can always email us at converttoraid@gmail.com, or you can call 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. And this one comes from Ryan. Darius, can you read this one, please?
He says, with all the new Blizz games, do you think we will ever have BattleNet achievements instead of game-specific?
BattleNet achievements, fellas. What are we thinking? Mick, is this ever going to happen?
Yeah. Is it high on Blizzard's list? No. And what do we get if for them? That's, the other question. Is it a good idea? Sure. Yeah, of course.
Right.
And especially if it's done the way the cross promotionals are done to promote the releases of games, where you get a thing in Diablo, you get a thing in Heroes, and you get a thing in Warcraft, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if it introduces stuff like that, then sure. I think the development slate for Battle.net is mostly going to be moving forward in and around communication and socializing. So I think this would be very far off if we see it.
Right. And it would have to be point. I don't even know what you'd be able to do for the prize. It would probably be like Battle.net points or something like that of some sort that you'd be able to get a virtual gift or something. Who knows?
I'm just confused. What is a Battle.net achievement? Like, have 100 friends, or
like you could
be blocked 100 times?
Have a level 70 hero in Diablo, like max level hero in Diablo and World of Warcraft or something like that.
Cross game you had stuff. A master skin in Hero, and you had a max level character in here, and all that kind of stuff. But the question remains. Well, here's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
If it connected to a flat currency that was in game across the board, it might be more interesting.
Oh, wow.
So, for example, you have gold in Heroes. You have a currency in Overwatch. We have currencies to purchase or make, in-game whatever, cosmetic stuff or small little tokens, that kind of stuff. Then it would be interesting if it came along with some sort of ongoing, currency that you could use within the games to do cosmetic changes and things like that. Then yeah, sure. I just think that that's so far off on what Blizzard's able to focus on that, I would rather have games come out faster than to anyone work on this in Battle.net and have a really great voice comm system and all that good stuff.
Yes.
And, a mobile app that allows me to do all that stuff.
Oh, mobile app. Actually, yes. Yes. If it's a choice between one thing or the mobile app, let's get the mobile app going. Let's get all the new games going. Let's make sure that what those things are spinning like a top.
Yeah. And I think this would, while sure some people would like it, I don't think anyone would be ecstatic about it, but there would be a lot of people upset about it because they're achievement grinders, but hey, I don't play Diablo. I want this achievement, but I don't want to be forced to buy Diablo and have to spend my time on that game.
It's Children's Week. I don't really give a crap there either. So,
right. I'm not one of those people. I'm
not one of those guys. Children's Week, I don't get it.
Don't we already kind of have this though, where it's like if you reach, whatever, like level 70 in this specific season, you get a pet in Diablo. So then you end up with, so you end up with the feat of strength, or something like that. So we kind of have this.
They're already kind of doing. They're doing it cross promotionally, but they're kind of like picking out exactly where they're gonna strike, which is kind of better in a lot of ways. So
well, they could even just have in Battle.net an achievements tab that lists all your achievements.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Instead of having to log into that game to see that game-specific achievement.
They should work on that instead of raids.
And put it on the mobile app, because then the mobile app would be there, and that would be awesome as well. So let's put everything on.
There are players out there that are so hardcore devoted to one game. I think this is a situation where you would see more people angry about this than you would see like hooray for this. And ultimately, Gizmo's right. It's going to create more problems than it is probably going to create, happiness. So why do it at all?
That's exactly why you do it.
Just to make people.
That's what the Battle.net, like at the top of your Battle.net application, to just say "built for happiness." That's what it should be.
Built for happiness.
That is the banner they should put up in that team's room. Our product is built for happiness.
Yep, exactly. All right, well, let's get out of here. But before we do, there we go. Hey, Dairies. Did you do your job this week?
Yeah.
All right. What? So your job is 5-star reviews. Do we? Who do we have to thank for 5-star reviews this week?
We might have mentioned these guys already. If not, then we'll cover it. If we have, we get you twice. So yay. We have Kix Tripod and Scrobutic. I don't know. On a good day, I couldn't pronounce that one.
Yeah, so. And you are freshly concussed still. So
Kix Tripod. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's John from last week. He was like, I don't. It's weird because I put my.
That's where I read it.
It's John Horseman from last week, and so it's like he was like, I didn't mean to do that the week that I was hosting or whatever, but I just realized that I hadn't done it yet, so I did it. And it's like I'm like, yeah, sure, John. You just wanted to get mentioned a couple of times during the show. Thanks a lot. No, thanks, John. It was really fun having you on the show. Any shout outs this week at all, fellas?
I'll give a shout out to my co-host over at Lords of the Storm, Ryan TBK and Kevin Multizord.
Awesome.
With the help with the tournament this weekend. TBK and I cast. It was a long time, and Multi made sure everything ran smoothly behind the scenes.
Awesome.
And actually, also to the Sweet Synergy esports team. They had a couple of their teams come out and participate. So
he can have a couple, Dairies. Don't worry about it.
Have as many as I want, Dairies.
Mick, what's going on with you this week? You got anything special cooking for podcast listening or anything like that?
Yeah, of course. We got another episode of TSC coming out this week. So that'll be episode 151. And then for Heroes of the Storm, we got episode 95 coming out. It's talking about tracers. So if you're looking for tracer tips or build tips, that's that episode.
Ooh. Awesome.
We got a bunch of super heroic episodes coming up, leading up to Captain America Civil War coming out.
Oh, man, that's coming out. Oh,
yeah,
boy.
Including our 3-part series, The Road to Civil War. So if you want to catch up on all the movies that went down leading up to that one, you can do that. But also, real quick, want to give a shout out to Willie Dills Gregory, who's my co-host on Stormcast. Not only did he reach legend status in Hearthstone, but he's going to be competing this week at DreamHack Austin in the Hearthstone tournament. So,
speaking of which, I will be at DreamHack.
You're going to be there?
I'll say hi to Mr. Willie Dills, but I will be at DreamHack.
So.
I will be help running DreamHack. But Captain America, I want to see that. If anyone's in Austin and wants to see it or has suggestions as to where I should see it, please let me know.
You got to go to that fancy theater, the Austin. What is that? The Austin Draft House? Is that what
the Alamo Draft House.
Alamo Draft House.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
Fly me down there, and I'll go see it with you.
Right. It's not a problem. Just fly me down.
It could have.
That's right. That's right, man. All that Marvel stuff just makes my head spin sometimes. Like all the different things that culminate into what the movie is. It's like I feel like I need to watch about 100 different things before I actually go to the movie.
You do?
I think all you got to watch is Avengers, Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Avengers 2. I think those are the ones that are pinpointed as like have to kind of rewatch.
So cool though. I don't know. All right. Hey, by the way, for those guys that listen to A Case of the Mondays with myself and Jules Scott, we've been off for a few weeks because guess what ends up happening? Every Monday, there's some new constructioneer coming into my house and making tons and tons of noise. And so it's been really horrible. I apologize to everybody, but hopefully we'll be able to get another episode out soon. And with that, we will stop this music. We'll just bail right out of that, and we're start right into this. There we go. Big thank you to all of you guys out there. You guys in Twitch chat, you guys out there listening in your home, in your car, or wherever, at work, slacking, like usual. No, that's me. Oh, but thank you guys for taking the time to listen to us, to converse with us, to give us feedback via iTunes and through Discord and all those other different things. And I'll get to how you can talk to us anytime you want. First of all, you can email us at converttoraid@gmail.com. You can always call and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. You can follow us on Twitter at Convert to Raid, or even individually. Isn't that right, Dairies?
Yeah, you can.
Awesome. Do you want to run through those? Or?
I feel like he should go to the hospital.
It's the concussion talking. It's the concussion talking.
It's apparent I'm worried about him.
Pat Crane at Pat Crane with the P.
Yep. Yep. That's it.
Dairies, I am at Bored Mind. Giz is at Gizmozord, and Mick is at Mick Montgomery.
That's right. Discord is also a thing that we use. Go to discord.converttoraid.com for your link. You can join the Bazoo Galba Nation by heading over to converttoraid.com. That's where we have show downloads, forums, videos, audios, tons of links for raiders, and so much more, including all the guild stuff and blah, blah, blah. Everything's over at converttoraid.com. We're also on iTunes, like I said, and also the internet. So look for us by name. We're all over the internet.
I used the internet once. I got a virus.
Yeah, I got to the last page. I was done. All right.
Oh.
The Convert to Raid podcast is produced and distributed by Signals Media. Make sure to check out all of our friends on the Signals Media All-Star Network at signalsmedia.com. And that is going to be it for the show. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Gizmo. Thank you, Mick. Thank you, Concussed Dairies. Freshly Concussed Dairies. And that's it. We'll see you at our next show, probably next week at our regular time, Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central for all the guys at Convert to Raid. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Love it.